Hello, Tarnished. The lands between can be rough on adventurers, but luckily, some mechanics will make your journey way easier. I'm Caboose with the Leaderboard, and today I'm going to share with you 10 game-breaking mechanics Elden Ring doesn't tell you. Let's get started. Number 10. If you want some runes, look out for gold. If you need to farm runes to get new goods from the merchants scattered around the lands between, keep an eye out for anything that looks like gold. Sometimes you may stumble upon enemies who have glowy golden eyes. Killing them will grant you way more runes than normal enemies, up to 4 or 5 times more. During some nights, golden leaves will drop from the air tree. When this happens, you'll receive a special buff that will increase the number of runes you can get from defeating enemies. This buff doesn't last long, so if you see golden leaves flying around, make sure to kill everyone you see. Number 9. The nose skill is an essential Ash of War for your shield. Ashes of War are useful to adjust your weapon skill and affinities to match your playstyle. One of these Ashes of War seems pretty useless though, the nose skill. It removes the existing skill of a shield or torch, giving you seemingly no bonus, but this Ash of War is actually the best one for shields. To use an Ash of War, you need to have a single weapon equipped. That means you can wield a sword but can't hold a shield at the same time. If your shield has an Ash of War, it will clash with your weapon and therefore cancel out both effects. The no skill Ash of War removes the existing skill of your shield using the skill of your weapon instead. Having a shield with no skill lets you keep your shield equipped and still benefit from your weapon's Ash of War, making it one of the best perks for your shields. You don't need to switch to the two-handed mode of your weapon to benefit from its full power anymore. You can get this Ash of War from Knight Bernal in the War Master's Shack on Stormhill for 600 runes. Number 8. You can destroy some of the walls. Elden Ring is full of surprises, and sometimes you have to get really stubborn to find out about them. The best example of this is illusory walls. If you hit these special walls 50 times in a row, they will break open. Of course, that doesn't work on all walls, but there are plenty of invisible walls throughout the lands between, just waiting for you to destroy them. Don't get your hopes up too high though. Most invisible walls won't lead you to a secret room full of runes and maidens waiting for you, but you may find a treasure chest sometimes, and that's always nice.
Unfortunately for you, however, you are maidenless.
Number 7. Mounting your horse makes you briefly invulnerable. Galloping through the lands between on Torrent is not only a fast and cool way to travel, but it can also come in handy on several occasions. Elden Ring doesn't tell you about one of the biggest perks of riding a horse. When you mount Torrent, it makes you briefly invulnerable. During that few seconds, you will take no damage whatsoever, no matter how hard your enemy is trying to kill you. So if you ever face an opponent that is too strong for you, remember that summoning Torrent with the steed whistle will allow you to avoid fatal damage for a split second. Oh, and in case you didn't know it, your horse can do a double jump. Number 6. Large enemies inflict friendly fire damage. While you're riding Torrent, you can kill some enemies without even dismounting your horse by leading large enemies to hurt smaller ones. You may have already noticed that some enemies deal friendly damage while others don't. There's a reason behind it. Only the bigger enemies deal friendly damage to others. That means if you're running near a giant swamp crab, not only will it try to crush you, but it may also crush other enemies if they stand too close. Of course, it is not Monster Hunter, so they won't start fighting against each other, but you can use this tip to inflict damage to some enemies without doing the dirty work yourself. Number 5. You can attack from both sides of your horse. There are plenty of useful tips Elden Ring just doesn't tell you about. For instance, you can attack from both sides of your horse by simply pressing L1 and L2 to attack from the left side and R1 and R2 to attack from the right side. You can also swap your right hand weapon with your left hand weapon by holding triangle or Y and pressing either R1 or R2. If you hold down L1 or R1, you will drag your weapon on the ground and deal some damage to enemies if you run past them. Of course, if you play on Xbox, L1 and R1 are respectively the left and right bumpers, while L2 and R2 are the left and right triggers. And that may be a bug, but if you wield your weapon with 2 hands right before riding Torrent, your weapon will deal the same extra damage when you ride, even if the animation shows your character holding the weapon with 1 hand. Number 4. Get out of swamps and lava faster. If you can run through most of the lands between, sometimes you just have to go through a slowing environment like lava or deep swamps. And then there seems to be nothing else to do but slowly walk towards the end of the boring zone, unless you have a dagger in your inventory. The dagger weapon art features Quick Step, a skill that makes you dash in a direction to reposition yourself in combat, or in our situation, get out of a slowing zone faster. Quick Step is also an Ash of War you can add to any melee weapon. The Bloodhound Step Ash of War works the same way and will allow you to move much quicker and get out of that boring zone faster.
Use it to traverse great distances.
Number 3, you can escape grab attacks faster by mashing your controller. Some powerful enemies can grab you, preventing you from escaping and dealing serious damage, but there is a way to escape grabs faster, mashing the bumpers and triggers of your controllers like crazy. This mechanic existed in the Dark Souls games and is making a comeback in Elden Ring, but the game doesn't tell you about it. While mashing your buttons won't prevent the grab, it will release you faster, so you'll take less damage. Number 2, Rainbow Stones can save your life. The Lands Between is an amazing open world you can explore freely. If the biggest danger out there is the various enemies in your way, there's also another deadly danger: cliffs. You can hop over some ledges and land safely, but other times you will jump and smash on the ground, getting the infamous "you died" screen. Luckily, there is a way to know if jumping from a ledge will kill you or not. Before jumping down, throw a rainbow stone down the ledge. The color of the rock is an indication of how much damage you will take. If it glows green, blue, or purple, you will take damage but will still be fine. If it's purple, you will suffer severe damage but will still survive. If the stone breaks, your bones will break and you will die. Always make sure to grab a few rainbow stones with you to determine how much fall damage you're going to take before making the plunge. And finally, number 1, weather has an impact on spell damage. You probably already noticed that Elden Ring features dynamic weather. It is not simply to look great and realistic. The weather has a real impact on the game. When it rains, your fire attacks will deal less damage, but that is also true for your enemies, as rain makes you more resistant to fire damage. You can roll in a body of water at any time to increase your fire resistance. If rain decreases the efficiency of fire attacks, it also boosts thunder powers. The overall change in fire and thunder attacks during rainy days is more or less 10% of their original damage output. And there you have it. Thank you for watching this video. Do you know any other useful tips to make Elden Ring easier? Share it in the comments below. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the leaderboard for more gaming content every single week. I've been Caboose, and I'll see you next time.